Hello Aries, welcome to your reading. It's good to see you. This is a timeless collective reading for anyone with major Aries placements, or if you were just intuitively guided here, I'm sure there's a message for you as well. So I've pulled one card so far from the Alice in Wonderland Oracle deck, just to get the theme of your reading. I've been sitting with the energy for a few minutes. It has been a little bit tricky for me to navigate, I'm not gonna lie, but I think that's part of the energy, and that is also a message for you. It's something I feel you are going through as well. A situation or an energy unfolding that's just a little bit tricky to navigate. So the card that has come forward for you is number 30. Law is not justice. Rules that are not fair. So she's holding the scales in her hand, and there's all this beautiful blue color throughout this image, like a royal blue. Every time I look at this image, I keep on thinking Libra, obviously. So I do feel like either the situation you're dealing with involves a Libra, maybe you have major Libra placements that Spirit is guiding you to tap into in order to navigate the situation, or this could just be an invitation for you to play with, I'm hearing, okay, play with the archetypal energy of Libra in general to support you at this time. Libra is, of course, about balance, harmony, equilibrium, objectivity, seeing all sides of a situation so that you can react so that you can respond and not react. Yes, you want to respond, not react. Okay. And of course, Libra, with all of this blue as well, it's making me think of communication and the throat chakra. So I was reading a little bit from the guidebook, and what this card speaks to is a situation where someone, maybe a group of people, but I'll just say someone, take it how it resonates, someone is misunderstanding you or judging you. Either they are committed to judging and misunderstanding you, no matter what you do, or they have preemptively judged you in some way without really knowing you or knowing the situation. And it might be making you feel a little bit, I'm hearing, sullen or retracted. And the advice, very specifically in the guidebook, the advice here is to practice speaking up for yourself. You don't want to match this person's energy. You don't want to mirror them or become a judgmental, misunderstanding person yourself. So there's a subtle difference here between defending yourself in this situation versus standing up for yourself. You don't necessarily want to defend yourself because, or at least think of it that way, because the way that I feel into that word, like the energy behind the word defend yourself, that feels like pushing against them, or the situation. That feels like trying really, really, really hard to make them see things the way that you see it. Or you're trying to force them to change their mind. And the more that you resist them, push against them, or fight them, I think the more they're going to dig their heels in and be who they are, at least in this situation. So this is not the energy of fighting. This is the energy of standing up for yourself, regardless of the outcome. This is an opportunity for you to practice speaking your truth for yourself, and the people who genuinely want to understand you and who actually are level-headed and have your best interests at heart and not just their own, they will hear you. That was a little bit difficult to say. They will hear you. When you speak methodically, clearly, and non-reactively, I feel like when you tap into Queen of Swords energy and you speak directly, honestly, and from a level-headed place, right? You're not triggered or anything like that. There are going to be ripple effects, massive ripple effects. And the people who matter will hear you. They will understand you. And anybody who is committed to judging you or misunderstanding you, they're going to become very apparent. And you can shift away from them, move away from them, or phase out of interacting with them, right? I'm going on a little bit of a rant here. It's kind of like, when you get troll comments on YouTube here, which I very rarely get, but every once in a while, it's normal. It's easy when you get dumb comments online to want to just you get triggered and then you reactively say something back. It's been sometimes in the past I've thrown a little bit of sass back at somebody who's being sassy at me. But then it's always just well, what was the point of that? I literally just wasted so much time doing that. But it's because I was coming from that triggered, defending myself kind of place. When there's nothing to defend, I feel like that's part of the message here. You don't have anything to defend, you just have your truth to speak. And speaking the truth will right the scales. Yes, okay. So embody Queen of Swords energy. Okay. I am using Tarot of Mystical Moments for you. Let's see what else wants to come through. Tell me a little bit more about what Aries, almost said Libra. Tell me a little bit more about what Aries is going through. Tell me a little bit more. Yeah, it just feels like there's somebody in the shadows. Somebody who's this is just for some of you, take it if it resonates, but somebody might be jealous. I don't know, that's just the energy I'm picking up on. There might be somebody who's jealous of you, who's kind of watching you from the sidelines, and you have some quality that they do not. I don't even know that they are necessarily conscious of this. I kind of doubt it. They may not be conscious of what's actually going on in their own psyche, but they're secretly wishing that they had something you have, whether it's something physical, tangible, material, or just a quality of your personality or a quality of your energy, but they can't accept that, and so they're just projecting. All right, anyway. The Magician, beautiful, yes. Perfect. This whole situation is allowing you to reconnect with your true powers of manifestation. I've said this in other videos before. The throat chakra, our thoughts, beliefs, and the language that we use, including the words we speak, that is directly tied to our capacity to manifest. And that is what the Magician card is all about. Right? So in some way, maybe recently you disconnected from your true power to create what you want through the energy that you embody, not through not other people's stories, other people's reactions, other people's baggage. That's them, right? You create what you want through your energy, through your embodiment, through your quality of focus. And everything in this situation is recentering you on that. I'm just really drawn to the fact that this magician figure is wearing a party hat. I don't know why, I've never really been drawn to that fact before in this image. I do feel like there's guidance here to try and tap into some kind of playfulness or optimism. That's kind of the antidote to trying to fight them, because again, you don't want to fight them. This is all for you to practice being in the energy you want to be in all the time, regardless of what other people are doing or saying. Page of Swords. Beautiful. Let me take a drink. So we have the Suit of Swords here, which again speaks to everything I was saying about communication, language, the Queen of Swords. I'm hearing something about you re-scripting your life. There's a little bit of an echo here between this and Leo's reading, which I just did yesterday, and I do find sometimes that happens, like certain themes within readings will sometimes overlap when I do them one right after the other. But for you specifically right now, Leo's message was about rewriting their story, stepping into being the author of their life. There's an undertone of that here, but I'm very specifically hearing for you, you are learning how to script your life. Page energy is always about studying and processing, right? So with the Page of Swords, it's like you're processing information. You might be reading a lot or researching a lot, writing a lot in order to try and logically process this situation objectively and again from like a level-headed place. So this is Libra energy. I feel like to some extent you are trying to practice this objective Libra energy, which is beautiful. Hang on, let me sit with this for one more second. Well, all these books that the Page of Swords is standing on, I feel like those are all of your old stories. Maybe to some extent you're kind of researching your own thought patterns. I feel like you are waking up to a pattern within yourself or in your life. You're going through like the records of your own story, researching them, so that you know what to rewrite or rescript. Show me Aries general energy. King of Cups. Perfection. Perfection. This is emotional containment. So you are giving yourself emotional... Look at all the waves inside of his body. You might, you know, again, this situation may have initially 1313 on the timer. It may have, which is the death card. Yeah. It may have initially triggered you to have kind of a flare-up of emotions. And maybe you're still feeling turbulent about this situation right now. But you're containing yourself. You're sitting with your emotions in a non-reactive way, which is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. 9 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. You've come a really long way in your own healing journey, your own, well, I guess relationship to yourself, your self-concept, your self-understanding, your relationship to your emotions. In the last reading that I gave for you, what came through was that you're a healer. You're a healer, and the healing process that you've taken yourself through is now something that you can actually offer to other people because it's something you embody. Many of you might be, if not a literal therapist, then a therapist kind of person. That's coming through again here right now. So I feel like despite the turbulent, triggered emotions that may be arising from the situation, you are feeling very proud of yourself because the situation is actually revealing to you just how emotionally intelligent and wise you are, and you know you're going to get through this. You're doing the right thing. Be proud of yourself. I think you are. You are. The way that you're reacting to this is almost a gift in and of itself, or the way that you're choosing to respond to this is a gift in and of itself. So what energies are challenging Libra? Tell me a little bit more about the challenge. Oh, I said Libra. Aries. Tell me a little bit more about the energies challenging Aries. I almost read for Libra today. I just realized that in this moment. Last night I was trying to like feel into who am I going to read for tomorrow, and actually the first energy that came to my mind was Libra. Truly. But then I was looking back through my videos and I was like, well, no, but I did Libra kind of recently and it's been a while for Aries, so. But I almost read for Libra today. Five of Cups. King of Wands at the bottom. Let me sit with this for 1 second. Some part of you may have felt invested to a certain extent in wanting them to understand you. I'm not sure if whoever this person or these people are, I'm not sure if you're close to them or not. If you're close to them, then I feel like it would be particularly challenging, you know, because you're going to be attached to wanting to be close to them. You're going to be more attached and emotionally invested in wanting them to understand you. So that's difficult to let go of. It's difficult potentially for you to, you know, accept that your soul's direction, your soul's sense of direction, is guiding you potentially to make some kind of executive decision here to maybe move on from them or release that attachment to needing them to understand you. But Spirit is saying it doesn't have to be. These people don't necessarily have to be close to you. It doesn't have to be a partner or family or someone you're invested in. The closer they are, the harder it is. But even if they're a complete stranger, going back to, you know, my example of the trolls on the internet, right? It's still hard. It's still hard to accept that no matter how much you might fight for yourself, there's just going to be people who misunderstand you in life because they want to. Or they just don't resonate with you. Whatever. So the challenge here, you know, the Five of Cups is always an invitation for you to shift your focus, to not ruminate on a situation, but to realize that, you know, ruminating is not processing. Ruminating is not processing. There is some kind of decision here that your soul is calling you to make through this King of Wands to move in a new direction, to not linger. I'll put it that way, to not linger in the emotions, but to instead shift to the higher guidance you're receiving, the inspired action you're being called to take, and again, this objective Queen of Swords energy. She does not linger in her emotions. She's connected to her emotions. She's informed by her emotions, but she does not get swamped by her emotions, right? So what's the advice? Advice. Hearing leave well enough alone. Okay. Ace of Swords. I love this Ace of Swords. Okay. How cool is that Ace of Swords? I feel like this goes back to re-scripting with the Page of Swords. Spirit is saying be open to unlocking a completely new understanding of the situation. And this is why it's important to not allow yourself to get swamped in the disappointment. You know, you are showing up here as the King of Cups, which is perfect, which is beautiful. You're non-reactive, right? But even still, from a non-reactive place within yourself, you can kind of get stuck in these heavier emotions, like disappointment or grief or something. Clarify the Ace of Swords. Should I look at the bottom of the deck? I heard no, but I did anyway. Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Okay, be open to a new understanding of what it means to be in connection with people. Clarify the Ace of Swords. What friendship or kinship really means or looks like. A new understanding of what it means or what it feels like is ready to come through. Seven of Wands, very interesting. So the Seven of Wands is about standing your ground. Standing your ground and not letting other people or other energies get to you. Not being swayed by anybody else's problems or projections. And normally I would say the Seven of Wands is about defending yourself. But again, I don't want to use that word because it implies fighting, which is a kind of matching their energy, which you don't want to do. Page of Wands at the bottom. I feel like Spirit is saying, give me 1 second. Well, there's something that you want to say that I feel like you're hesitating to say. What is it that you want to say, but you're hesitating to say? Definitely working with your throat chakra, in any way, working with the color blue. Practicing speaking your truth, practicing being in the energy of self-worth, self-esteem, confidence, right? Practicing that Queen of Swords energy, that's the thing that will unlock a new understanding. It's kind of, again, going back to the Leo reading, it's like, because Leo was struggling to feel confident in a situation, and the advice that came through was practice being confident. You're not going to get confident first and then express yourself. You're going to build confidence by practicing expressing yourself, practicing being confident. I feel like there's an echo of that here too. Practicing being in the energy you want to be consciously in the situation, it's going to unlock some kind of new way of thinking about relationships in general that will allow you to stay in that Queen of Swords energy no matter what. Let's get some journal prompts for you from my journal prompt deck. These journal prompts will be in the description box along with several others. They'll help you to process all of this and take your inner work a little bit deeper. There will also be a link to my website where you can buy this deck for yourself. It's called the Codex of Questions. Okay, is your fear a sign that something is wrong for you or something is right for you? How can you tell the difference? Well, you might be a little bit afraid to speak your truth. You might be a little bit afraid to follow this calling of your soul, to do whatever it is that is, you know, the embodiment of you, expressing self-worth in the situation. But just because you're afraid to speak up for yourself or stand up for yourself, that doesn't mean it's guidance from spirit to not, right? What is your heart telling you to do that scares you? Okay. And what do you feel nostalgic for? And what is that nostalgia revealing that you value? That takes me to the Five of Cups. Kind of like longing for something to have turned out differently, or maybe this is a relationship with somebody that used to be really good in the past, or you expected it to work out better. So this is, yeah, a calling for you to reflect on bittersweet memories in some way, or previous relationships that you really, you know, cherish. What are those memories teaching you that you value, and how can you live in alignment with those values today, especially in this situation specifically? Okay, let's get a closing message from the Earth and Bone Oracle by Syrian Shadow. Ascension, number 34, transformation, end of a cycle and beginnings. Look at that blue. Let's see what the guidebook says. Okay. You've started the process of entirely reprogramming your thinking, re-scripting, in order to materialize anything you desire. Welcome to your journey of self-transformation through love. Keep in mind that it has to come from your imagination. Consider you're already who you want to be. The Queen of Swords. It can only manifest and incarnate in this time and place if you completely transform yourself. The imaginings that bring your senses into alignment with truth are the source of transformation. Allow yourself to live from the perspective, never allowing your mind to be dissuaded from what it desires. Forget about doubt and the how. Claim it for yourself. Use it for manifesting everything and anything you desire. The Magician. Live as though all you want is already your reality. You must completely surrender to the belief that your desire exists before it is manifested in the physical world. Your body is not who you truly are. Choose to invest in your imagination and live in the knowledge that you are inviting your heart to change your life. From the inside out, we all change. Live from a place beyond the limits of physical reality. Envision yourself in the position you desire. Allow yourself to let go of everything you aren't and embrace, accept, and tell yourself all you desire in the context of everything you are. Feel as if it has already happened. Overcome your doubts and anxieties to discover your own power. You are becoming boundless. Affirmation. I unlock all doors to access my higher self. I am a multi-dimensional being with unlimited potential. Okay, beautiful. Goodness, all right. Thank you for letting me read for you, Aries. Thank you for spending some time with me and sitting with me as I navigate this interesting energy, which you are also navigating. This was so much fun. I hope it was helpful, or at least thought-provoking. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. And again, the journal prompts and all my links will be in the description box. I'll see you again soon. Bye.